Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start with calling the meeting to order. Again, it's February 8th, 2023. The time is 7:01 p.m. I'm going to start with our roll call. Starting with Ward 1, Commissioner Young. Commissioner Young. We'll move on. Ward 2, Commissioner Amarche.
Present.
Thank you. Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley is present. Ward 4, Commissioner Givens.
Givens is present.
Thank you. At-large Commissioner Uri. Which I did receive a message from Commissioner Uri that she may not join us tonight. But I know we have at least 3 commissioners on. So we do have a
I
quorum.
just got a message also. This is Commissioner Young. I'm on now. I was just getting on as you were speaking. And I got a message from Commissioner Uri's mother that she's not, that Commissioner Uri's not going to be with us.
Thank
But
you,
she wanted
Commissioner.
to,
Thank you, Commissioner Young. I was just making that statement that she said she may not join us. So thank you.
sorry
for
to interrupt.
repeating that.
There was another message she wanted me to pass on.
No, we have a quorum. Commissioner Uri is absent. We still have a quorum. Commissioner Young is present. We have 4 commissioners. Again, we have, can you please bring up the agenda, please? Thank you. So, let's see. Let's start. Mr. Richardson, can you also make Commissioner Amarche a co-host? All right, thank you. So before we get started, and approving the financials and the minutes from last month, I do see Miss Gloria Albright has joined us from Delegate Fennell's office. Hi, Miss Albright, how are you today or this evening?
I'm fine, and you? Hope everybody is good.
Yes, it was good seeing you Saturday.
I really enjoyed y'all show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Did you want to bring a message to us from the delegate?
Yes, the only message I have is to remind you guys that we are doing the food drive on the 25th of February, from 10 to 2. Other than that, I'm just here to listen.
And the location is going to be in Comar Manor?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, in Comar Manor.
Okay, and that's from 10 to 2.
Yes.
Is that this Saturday?
No, the 25th,
The 25th?
next Saturday.
Next. Yeah, because this Saturday is Super Bowl. Okay.
Right.
The Super Bowl weekend. Yeah. Okay, the 25th.
Mhm.
And that's open to both-
Everybody.
everybody? Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Maybe Ms. Richardson, you think we could put something out on Constant Contact to help advertise that for the 25th?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Albright, could you send a flyer or something if you have a flyer?
I sure will first thing tomorrow when I get in the office.
Okay, great. Thank you so
Okay.
much for doing
Okay,
that.
you're welcome.
And please thank Delegate Fennell for all her assistance to the community, to District 47. You guys are doing a great job. We really do appreciate you.
I most certainly will.
All right. Okay, so next on our agenda is approval of the minutes and financials for January 2023. So we also have our treasurer's report, the January work session, and the January town hall minutes.
Commissioner Chair, may I speak? It's Carol.
Yes.
We also have Angelica Ballantyne from Congressman Glenn Ivy's office.
Oh, okay, I
In the
didn't
meeting.
realize. Okay, well, let's give Miss Angelica a chance to speak. Welcome, Miss Angelica. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me. My name is Angelica Ballantyne. I am a community liaison for Congressman Glenn Ivey. If you haven't heard, we're freshman offices. We just opened up our offices in Largo. However, I just wanted to introduce myself, let you guys know that I'm here and we're here in the community. I'll also be dropping my contact information in the chat so you guys can have it if you ever need it. I also just wanted to point out that we are going to have our grants newsletter come out pretty soon, and we're also going to begin our community funded projects. That's also in the woodwork. So I just wanted to drop that in and just let you guys know that I'm here, and whatever you guys need, I'm available. So just look for my contact info in the chat shortly. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Miss Valentine. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome to Cottage City. Please thank Congressman Ivey for all that he's doing for our communities. I'm looking forward to working with him and you as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so do we have any other special guests in the house? Because I don't want to forget anyone. Or I don't want to omit anyone. And let me check the, see who's all in attendance. I think I did all my housekeeping. All right. So getting back to our agenda, again, we have our financials and our minutes from January. Did anyone have any edits or corrections to the minutes from the January meetings?
I have a couple things. If I may speak, please.
Go ahead.
First thing on the January minutes for the actual meeting, where the listing of the copier purchase or lease, we need to add to that. There was a discussion about seeing how much it would cost to keep the current copier while we look at buying a new one, since we had paid for it over time, and we might be able to keep it for not very much money. So that would need to be added to the copier dash purchase or lease. Then the Brentwood Fire Department car seat installation. I wasn't clear about what kind of car seat they were talking about. Is that child car seats? Or what that was? I thought that needed a little bit more explanation. And then on the gas and food cards, I think we, well, actually, that's in a different thing. I think we agreed to never mind. I think that's all on that one. I think the other thing it was on this month's. Does anyone know what was it? Child car seats that they were talking about under Brentwood Fire Department?
Yes, they were child car seats.
Okay, we might just want to add in the word child
Okay.
before car seat to clarify that. And then put in the part about wanting to find out about keeping the current copier, how much that would cost. Did we ever find out how much that would cost?
Yeah, it was about $3,500. I'm saying that off the top of
Wow.
my head. I would have to look in my email. I was going to, since this agenda was full, I was going to talk about it at the next meeting, since we didn't have a work
Okay,
session.
I mean, I was just wanting to add that we mentioned it at
Okay.
the last meeting. We don't need to talk about the current situation right now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other edits or comments on the minutes?
None for me.
I see a few grammatical corrections, but I'm not gonna make a big thing out of it.
Well, are you referring to the town hall or the work session?
I believe this is the work session.
Okay, I'll take another look at it.
Mm. You know what? I can't minimize this thing. Crazy. Okay, can you go to the financials since there were no other edits?
I have it on the screen. Are you not able to see it?
I can see it.
Okay.
Were there any comments or corrections or edits for Mr. Frankfurt? I don't understand why. Can you scroll down some? Because it looks like, I don't know if the screen is frozen.
Let me move it up some. Okay. hold on. Would you like for me to scroll down further?
Yes, please. Okay, hearing no comments or questions in regards to the financials, is there a motion to approve the minutes for January and the financials for January?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second with my changes.
Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Marche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Yuri is absent. There were no nays or abstentions. Motion passes. All right, so what's next on our agenda?
Ordinance 2023-01. And I will handle that.
It looks like it says public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is.
Are there any public comments at this time? Something is weird about this computer. Okay, hearing no public comments at this moment, we're gonna move on to our next item, which would be old business, which is ordinance 2023-01. Am I on the right one? Okay, yeah. So that's the changing of language in the code enforcement. Is that the right one?
Yeah. Changing the title from code enforcement officer to code compliance officer.
Okay,
So this is,
the second reading.
yes, it is.
All right, let me read it into the record. Can you go back to the top, please?
Yes.
All right, so Cottage City Commission, Town of Cottage City Ordinance Number 2023-01. An ordinance of the Town of Cottage City amending the code of the Town of Cottage City to change the title of Code Enforcement Officer to Code Compliance Officer. This ordinance was introduced by the Cottage City Commission. I can only see a little bit of that. So it says, whereas pursuant to section 18(2) of the town charter, the Cottage City Commission has the power to pass ordinances not contrary to the laws and constitution of this state for the specific purposes including to provide, maintain, and operate community and social services for the preservation and promotion of the health, recreation, welfare, and enlightenment of the inhabitants of the town. I don't think I need to read any more because that print is very small. I do believe we discussed this last week in the work session. I think most of us are in agreement that we prefer the word compliance versus enforcement or enforcer. And so we made a decision as a body to change the title of this position in the charter. And I understand this position has been advertised, correct?
No, not yet, because of the change. I needed the change to happen first with the title. As soon as you all change it, I will be posted tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was posted because someone told me they applied. But,
Well, we've gotten resumes because people have heard about it.
okay. Okay. All right, so I don't think there's a need to have any further discussion. Did you write this ordinance or did Mr. Best write the ordinance?
Mr. Best.
Okay. And we've already had the first reading, so this is just, again, housekeeping. So is there a motion to, can you lower it so I can see the number again? Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-01?
I move that we approve ordinance
Yep.
number 2023-01.
Is there a second?
Givens, I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Armache and Givens. Call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Marche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Armache, did you say aye?
I did. It was just at the same time as Ann.
Okay, so that's 4 ayes. Commissioner Uri again is absent. There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes. We're done with that one. Let's move on to the next one, which would be, okay, how did that get like that? Selection of sites for speed monitoring systems by Red Speed. Okay, so as you all know, we've been reviewing this information and discussing it since 2021. when our town manager was Miss Barbara, along with Chief Ayers, along with our town attorney, Kevin Best, and the commission, we have reviewed our speed camera program. We passed. Can you bring up the ordinance?
Yeah. Trying to get to it. One moment.
Well, it's ordinance number 2021-03. And it was passed back in September of 2021. We've met in open session, we've met in closed session. We were set to go with the cameras in the locations they are currently installed in. Then right after they got installed, we got a concern, or we received a concern from the town attorney. And then we had some discussions with the contractor. We went back to State Highway. We even had some discussion with the county. And we further went to the Attorney General's office to get some advice on the statute or the language in the statute. Which if you want, you can bring that up as well.
Well, I was going to this page that has where they would be located, so. Do
That's
you
on
want me to
page
go to the
15.
Attorney General's letter?
Well, we can read the locations that they're
Okay.
currently at, and then we can go to the letter. But I'm just trying to give a summary for the public.
Okay.
So, the current locations, as my understanding, as it states in the ordinance, are at 3400 Bladensburg Road, alternate Route 1 to 4300 Bladensburg Road, alternate Route 1, and looks like 3700 38th Avenue to 3800 38th Avenue. And then there's also, let's see, 38th Avenue and Bladensburg Road, and 41st Avenue and Bladensburg Road. Those are the current locations that the camera equipment has been installed. Again, we've been addressing this or trying to get a clear understanding for the last 2 years. Again, we started with the State Highway, and they gave us a permit for the locations that are listed in the ordinance. They came out, they inspected the site, and they said that the locations were valid. Prior to that, prior to State Highway coming out and inspecting the sites, we had the contractor, which I'm not sure if it was Red Speed or Gasco, I don't remember which one, but one of the contractors that we had solicited did a traffic study, working with our staff. They did a traffic study, made recommendations where the high volume of traffic is. As you all know, Bladensburg Road is very busy, especially during rush hour. We've had several pedestrians hit. We've had several accidents. I'm not sure if anyone was ever killed on that road, but I know it's a very dangerous road. We've had a lot of accidents. I know there's a lot of concern, not just from not only from our residents, but from folks in our sister town, Comar Manor. I know that the delegates and the senator, they've gotten complaints from the community in regards to the high speed on that road. So we, as a commission, with the new statute that came out in Prince George's County, the statute was already in place in Montgomery County. It has been in place in Montgomery County. Speed camera program in Montgomery County, I want to say has been in place probably over 10 years. Prince George's County piggybacked or copied off of Montgomery County and has recently put that law in place. And that's why we were able to install the cameras, the speed cameras on Bladensburg Road. So again, we've been having a lot of discussions. we thought we had crossed all the Ts and dotted all the Is. But again, at the, I want to say at the last hour, we got a concern from the attorney, the town attorney that is. So after going to State Highway, after having communication with the county, after speaking with the contractor, which was at the time we decided to select Red Speed. We decided, or I will say I decided, because I just happened to have a conversation with our senator, and during the conversation, it came up, well, you know, if you want to get a second opinion, you know, you could go to the AG's office, which is the Attorney General for our county. And so I said, okay. I said, I think that's a good idea. So I came back, talked with the town manager, asked her to send the email over to the senator's office, asking for a clear definition of the statute of the language, the statute of the language in the law. And we did get a letter back. We did get a response back. The hiccup is that based on the different organizations and agencies that we have spoken to, the majority of them have said that the cameras that are currently located on Bladensburg Road do meet the criteria for the new statute of the law. Our attorney disagrees. He believes that at least one of the cameras should be moved. We have another commissioner, Commissioner Young, who agrees with Mr. Best that although we do have residential housing on Bladensburg Road, their feeling is the current location of one of the cameras is in a business district versus a residential district. So the letter came in from the AG. I read it. Hopefully the rest of you commissioners read it and get, hopefully you understand it. If you don't understand it, then, you know, I know we went into closed session with Mr. Best. And again, Mr. Best did not agree. He felt that the AG agreed with his opinion. But if you bring the letter up, there's a certain section.
I think it's at the bottom of page 3, beginning of 4, if I remember correctly. Are you able to see it?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
I think if you start with where it says the term residential district is defined as an area that 1 is not a business district and 2 adjoins and includes a highway where the property along the highway for a distance of at least 300 feet is improved mainly with residents or residences and buildings used for business. I think that starts on page 3. Or
3?
maybe- It's either 3 or 4. I don't know the exact location.
Yeah, I thought it was here.
Okay,
Mhm.
so while you're looking for the actual language, I'll just continue with the summary of what's been going on. So again, Commissioner Young agrees with our attorney. I know in the meeting.
Actually, when you get to me, I'd rather than you characterizing what I think, I'd rather say that for myself, but I can wait until you're finished.
Thank you. I know in the closed session, we did take a vote. Unfortunately, we did not have enough commissioners present to take the vote. So the motion failed. We do have enough commissioners present tonight to take the vote again, because you need at least, I believe you need at least 4 commissioners in order to take the vote, or you need at least three to either agree or disagree for the motion to either pass or fail. Let's see if I left anything out.
I found the language that says what a residential is defined as.
Okay,
It's on the screen.
okay. Okay, that says, again, the term residential district is defined as an area that, one, is not a business district, and two, adjoins and includes a highway where the property along the highway for a distance of at least 300 feet is improved mainly with residents and buildings used for business. Transportation Article 21-101S. A business district is defined as an area that adjoins and includes a highway where at least 50% of the frontage along the highway for a distance of at least 300 feet is occupied by buildings used for business. And that's under Transportation Article 21-101F. So, again, the attorney for the town is saying where the current location of one of the cameras is a business district versus being in a residential district. My understanding is that Bladensburg Road has been considered, and I know that the county just recently changed the zoning and the codes and stuff, and it has been changed to mixed use, from my understanding, which would not make it a business district, as the attorney is saying.
Yeah, it's considered mixed use, a neighborhood activity center.
Yes. And I believe that change happened maybe over a year ago. If you guys remember when the county wanted to change the zoning, and Mr. Decker of Eastgate asked the Cottage City to send a letter of support to allow him to keep his, I believe his was industrial use. And we did send a letter supporting it, even though I didn't agree with that letter. But my understanding is the county did not change it, but I think what he did not, I think what they did, they said they grandfathered him in, but anybody coming in that's new would have to follow the new zoning. And, but if he brings someone in that has the same type of business that was already there, they could be grandfathered in. But I said all of that to say that it's not a business district. That's all I'm saying. It's considered mixed use, which would include residential. And let's see, there was an example in the letter as well. If you could go to the example.
Yeah. It's further down. Hold on.
Mhm.
Okay, it says, for example, on page 4. In the
You can
end
read
of
it.
this,
You can go ahead and read it.
for example, if property along both sides of a 350-foot stretch of highway is improved by residences, after which there is unimproved parkland along one side of the highway and woodland on the other for a distance of 200 feet, followed by another 200 feet of property improved by residences, the full 750-foot stretch of highway would appear to be within a residential district as long as it can be said that the combined 750-foot stretch of highway is improved mainly with residences.
Okay, and it goes on to say, while this is, in my view, the better interpretation of residential district based on the specific text of Transportation Article 21-101S, it remains unclear how a Maryland court would construe and apply the definition if presented with this issue. For further clarification and guidance on how the term residential district has been construed by the state, you may want to contact the State Highway Administration, which again is where we originally started. We started with the State Highway. They came out, they did the inspection. They okayed the current locations. Once the concern was brought up, they pulled the permits back. Mr., I believe his name is Capanides.
Yes.
Mr. Capanides, who runs I believe he's the regional manager for this district or this area. He pulled our permits back and he took it back to his bosses and had them double check what the inspectors had done. His commander or his supervisor or whomever is over him came back and said, no, they didn't make a mistake. The locations are fine. They meet the criteria. They fit they fall within the law. So that's where we are. I know Commissioner Young had reservations and she has concerns and she wants to express them. So Commissioner Young, you have the floor.
Thank you. I sent an email and it was this afternoon, so I guess everyone probably hasn't had a time to read it. First, I think I want to point out, I really don't want to throw a wrench in everything. I remember when this first came up, my main concern was getting a speed camera on 38 because I was concerned with people speeding through there and individuals having difficulty crossing 38 because of the traffic speeding along 38. So I really didn't even pay attention to the part about Bladensburg Road. And I'm sorry for that. But I think there are a couple of concerns that I have. One is that I think we need to go with legal opinions. And I wish that we had been able to get the opinion of the lawyer at the State Highway Administration rather than the non-lawyer higher ups. I guess my first thing that I'd point out is that as the AG opinion notes, residential district is defined in the county code as an area that is, quote, not a business district. And then it talks about the residential going on for a distance of at least 300 feet. And it can include a mix of residences and businesses for a distance of at least 300 feet. And I don't think there's any dispute that the area between 37th, my end of town, and probably 41st is a mix of residences and businesses. Starting at my end, starting at 37th, going south, it's all businesses, which to me would say that that makes it a business district. I think it's instructive to look at the example that the Assistant Attorney General gave in his opinion, being that if property along both sides of a 350-foot stretch of highway is improved by residences, and then you have parkland or woodland, and then you have more residential district, then the whole thing can be called residential district. The problem is they didn't give an example using, instead of parkland or woodland, they did not give an example using businesses. So I walked up this afternoon, I walked up Bladensburg Road, and starting at 37th, there are a couple of car places, there's a gas station, there's a bunch of business. It's all business starting at 37th. If the request for opinion had been written to say that at the edge of the residential district starting at 37th, and then I think at the other end it would be 41st. It's all businesses. Then I think the person who wrote the opinion would have known more clearly what we were talking about. As I understand, the request for opinion didn't clarify what the other type of area was. And so they came back, and the example they gave was the other area would be woodland or unimproved parkland. So I don't want to throw a wrench into things. I just think that there's enough concern that, given the fact that if you look at, for example, the road starting at 37th going down to Eastern, which is the rest of Cottage City, being all businesses, that the likelihood is that that would be called a business district. Now, I know mixed use is used in another context, but not the same context as this, so I don't really think that that would have a whole lot of effect on this particular issue. So again, well, I don't want to throw a wrench into this. The problem is, if someone were to sue, if someone were to get a ticket up in that business area and were to sue and say, look, we got a ticket, but it wasn't in a residential district, then, you know, then they could theoretically win, and they could theoretically get money from us, and that would put us in a bad situation. So, you know, I'm sorry I didn't pick this up earlier. I do note I was told today that I was curious who chose those definitions of the residential district that was in our early proposed ordinance. And I was told that Red Speed chose them and told them to the chief, and then the chief put that in that ordinance, and then that went through. Whereas I think that the town itself was supposed to be the one, the municipality was supposed to be the one, in other words, the commission was supposed to be the one who chose those places. Now, you could say that we chose those places by voting in favor of what we did in that 2021 ordinance. The only problem was, I remember when we were discussing it, I was raising concerns about 30th, 38th, and there was some difficulty finding different parts of it in the ordinance. So I don't think we really considered very carefully where, I don't think we considered really at all where they were in adopting that ordinance. So I'm sorry, I don't want to throw a wrench into things, but I just think from my observations, we could be skating on thin ice if we go forward with this. So I think that's probably all I need to say. Thank you.
All righty. So, yeah, that's where we're at. I know, as I said, Commissioner Young and the town attorney have concerns. Those are two individuals. They both have legal backgrounds, but we also have the state, SHA, we have the county, we have the AG, and we have also have Senator Augustine, who presented the question to the Attorney General and who was part of this legislation. He helped draft the legislation. So when I spoke to him, he said that their intention was to address areas like Bladensburg Road. So he also disagrees with the other two interpretations of this statute. I'm comfortable with where
I
the,
think the question would be what parts of Bladensburg
Lord
Road well, I think it would be, the question would be what parts of Bladensburg Road?
before I was interrupted, I was saying that we understand the concern, but I am comfortable, and I'm speaking for myself. I am comfortable with leaving the cameras where they are. I feel that after speaking with the senator, after reading the AG's letter, after hearing from the town attorney, after hearing from Commissioner Young, after hearing from the guy, Captain Smith from the county, and hearing from Mr. Caponides from SHA, I am comfortable with leaving the cameras where they are. I think we need to go ahead and call for the vote. Unless there's any new information, which I haven't heard any new information. The only information that I've heard is information that has been already, that's been repeated. So I don't think we needed to discuss it anymore. I think we just need to call for the vote and we just let it lie where it is.
I would like to just get some clarity on just one issue. So my question, because I wasn't, apparently, unfortunately, I wasn't in a meeting in which probably there was some discussions going on about some of this prior. And if we approved the ordinance and the attorney wrote the ordinance, what were the addresses in the ordinance, the locations?
I can answer that for you, Mr. Givens.
Mhm.
When we did the first reading,
Mhm.
if you go back to the minute, you'll see in the first reading that the addresses were blank. There was some reference on page 4, but not very specific.
Okay.
When we did the second reading, which was in a regular town meeting, which the town attorney did attend, because I checked the attendance and I looked at the minutes.
Mhm.
The locations were there. During the closed session, it was, our attorney, Mr. Best, admitted that he didn't fully read the ordinance with the locations for the second reading. He admitted that. And it's unfortunate that he didn't catch it sooner because the cameras had not been installed yet. But it was there. It was also in the contract that Mr. Best reviewed, our town attorney. The map was there. The additional attachments and exhibits were provided. Mr. Best said he didn't look at them. So he didn't actually know.
That's not true.
Well, that's what you said.
Sorry for interrupting.
That's what you said, and I have the floor. That's what you said in the meeting. Commissioner Givens asked a question. I'm trying to answer him. Please don't interrupt me like that again. That's what was said, to my recollection, what was said in the meeting. Mr. Best, again, the town attorney, said he did not have all the material for the contract, but yet and still, we were given the okay to sign the contract. Does that answer your question?
It does. What did Mr. Best have to say? I'm not sure what else he has to say.
Mr. Best, would you like to have the floor?
Yeah, sure. I did not write in these residential districts when the ordinance was first written. I left them blank. At the time, my understanding was speed cameras would be on the residential streets owned by the town. They were later added. This language was added. And this ordinance was passed well before the contract was approved. However, I was at the meeting where this ordinance was finally passed. And I was asked if it was okay, if it was legally sufficient. I said, yes, I suspect it is. However, we all know that the devil's in the detail. And Bladensburg Road in general can pass for a residential district, but there are certain parts that may not pass for a residential district. But the ordinance doesn't determine exactly where the sites should be. That was to be determined by contract as a supplement to the contract which came later. And I never received any request to review anything about the sites. I found out about the sites from another third party. And technically under Exhibit A of the contract, a supplement was supposed to be prepared and approved. And assuming that supplement showing the sites on a map was to be approved under the contract, it would seem it would be approved by the commission itself. That never happened. And so, you know, the review of the exact site locations didn't come until September, or rather October, November, December timeframe. And like I said, I found out through the grapevine that the sites had been improved. Of course, I don't attend all the meetings. I think when I learned about it, I felt that maybe it had been approved at one of the workshop meetings, but I inquired, and then my concerns were expressed, and that's how this started. There's a lot I could say about this, and I don't want to do that in open session. I'd rather do it in closed session. I think you have, as expressed by the chair, you have an idea where I stand on this. There were some new things said tonight I would like to respond to, but I will not do so because, you know, the public's watching, and I don't want to give any type of indication of any details on how to interpret the statute, except to my client in closed session. So I'll leave it at that. But you know, in open session where I'm impugned to have said things or done things that did not happen, I wanted to give the chance to answer. And since it was raised by Commissioner Givens, that's how it panned out. Again, I stress, yes, I said that the ordinance was legally sufficient. The chief or someone else filled in that information about the district and BNC, as you see on your screen. I said that it was legally sufficient, and I still hold true to that because there are portions of Bladensburg Road that are sufficient to meet the definition, and so I'll leave it at that. And if you want to go into closed session and get some more detail on what was said about a few items tonight that is brand new, be glad to do so. But you know, if you make the decision, decision's yours to be made. Thank you.
So, Mr. Best, Mike, you made I'm confused about something. You said that you were under the assumption that the cameras were going to be placed in residential streets in which the town owns, correct? That's what you said.
When the ordinance was first written,
Oh, okay, whenever, I don't know, I'm talking about what
Yeah.
you just said just now.
yes, when the ordinance was
Okay,
first
well,
written,
we don't own these streets, and it's never
Yes, you
been
do.
proposed. Hold on.
Sure.
Because unless you're gonna tell me 38 turned into towns, what's the name, and Bladensburg turned into towns, those both are state highways. So my understanding, Ann Young's concern, what she had proposed and what she had wanted to see was Bladen's 38. That wasn't really, we discussed that. And 38th is state highway as well. So are you gonna inform me of an area in which you assume that we're gonna put the cameras outside of 38th and Bladensburg or Bladensburg? Because I'm curious as to know what location that would be, because I'm a little bit, I never assumed anywhere other than what was discussed, which was Bladensburg and a potential for 38th. Both of which
Well,
state highway.
well, I figured that speed cameras would go where the statute would permit them, and my thoughts were that because of the nature of the state highway, Bladensburg, it would probably be a municipal street, which are the interior streets of the city or the town. I think it was shortly thereafter that I learned that Commissioner Young was interested in doing something with speed cameras on 38, which is a state highway. So when I originally, the point is, when I originally drafted the ordinance, I assumed, and that's, that's, so what? I assumed that, the law, it's what the law allows. And if you all feel that the law allows it anywhere you wish to put it, then I understand.
Okay. All right. Well, we can go to closed session. We'll talk about that in closed session as to not to impugn your reputation, but that is not accurate at all in regards to the discussions that were being had in regards to the locations of the speed camera. It's never, ever, ever in the history of Cottage City, and I've been here as long as they've been having speed cameras from the 10 years when it was initially created. It was never talked about, proposed, discussed, suggested, or recommended to go on any of the streets because it wouldn't make any sense. Think about it. I mean, if you made a mistake, I can live with that. But everybody's got to step up and kind of come to, a meeting with Jesus and kind of say, hey, but that right there, that was never an option. But thank you. I appreciate your time.
Well, I will say that in Montgomery and other places in Prince George's County, you can find perhaps residential speed cameras on residential streets like you have in the interior of your town. But I won't refute what you said, but that was my assumption at the time I wrote the ordinance, that the cameras would be on a residential street. And I didn't think at the time that Bladensburg Road necessarily met that definition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Could
so
I clarify one thing?
I
Could
want
I
to,
take 1 second to clarify something?
Commissioner Young, please make it quick because it's almost 8 o'clock. We have several other items.
It's very quick. It's very quick. Someone mentioned my legal background, and I just wanted to say I was a lawyer. I retired a few years ago. When I retired, I gave up my law license so as not to have to pay for it anymore. So anything that I say now is not as a lawyer.
Mhm. Okay, getting back to what Mr. Commissioner Givens raised. Commissioner Givens, you are 100% correct. It was never discussed, the cameras, the speed cameras would go on residential streets. It has always been Bladensburg Road and 38th Avenue. It's always been those two streets, which we all know are state highway. They belong to the state. The municipality does not have any control over them. And we never discussed putting speed cameras on residential streets within the town. That we have ownership of. We never discussed that. That was never an option. It was never on the table. I'm sorry if Mr. Best, if that was your interpretation or your understanding, but I can tell you, as well as Commissioner Givens and any other commissioner that was in these meetings, goodness well, we never talked about putting those cameras on residential streets. We always talked about Bladensburg Road, and Commissioner Young wanted to include 38. That has always been the conversation.
I wrote this ordinance before the conversation really began.
Okay, Mr. Best, if that's your claim, fine. But again, we need to move on. We've discussed this at length. I think we just need to, if you can bring the agenda back up, please. I think we need to go ahead and move on. We've discussed this in great detail. So I'm going to make the motion because I really would like to put this to bed. So I want to make a motion, and this is Commissioner Wheatley, that the speed monitoring systems installed by Red Speed remain in the locations that they are currently installed. Is there a second?
I'll second. Givens.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens. The motion has been made, it's been properly second. We have had a discussion in regards to it. We are now ready to call for the vote. Those in favor of keeping the cameras in the current location, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Marche, aye.
Any opposed?
I'm very sorry, but I'm sorry, I do have to oppose. This is Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Commissioner Young. Commissioner Uri again is absent. We have 3 commissioners in favor. We have 1 commissioner who is against. The motion does pass. Thank you. We can move on to the next item. Which,
Great. The next item is a revision to the ARPA gas card program, resolution 2023-02. I could find it. Let me go back. And I had raised the issue to the commission that people had, the current program, let me start there, says it's 1 gas card per household, period. So I raised the issue to the commission because people came back, excuse me, asking if they would be eligible for more gas cards and food cards as well. So the commission decided that each household will be eligible for 2 cards per fiscal year, meaning from July 1 to June 30th. So that is the only change in the program, to allow households to get 2 cards within the fiscal year.
I
just
just
wanted to
raised a
get some
minor
clarity.
issue.
okay, I think what I'm gonna do, and you guys tell me if you agree to doing this, so that we're not talking over each other, maybe what we should do is just mute everyone, and when you have the floor, we will recognize you, the chair will recognize you, and then you can have the floor to yourself without being interrupted. Is everyone in agreement to doing that, so we don't have
Yes.
two commissioners talking at the same time?
Yes.
Commissioner Young, are you okay with that?
I'm not sure how you would get attention.
You could either raise your hand, turn on your camera, or you could put something in the chat.
As you know, I don't have a camera, and I'm not sure that I can raise my hand doing it the way I do. I'll try, but as you know, I use my computer combined with my phone, so I'll do my best.
Okay. I thought you had picked up the new laptop, but okay. All right, so.
Well, the screen is so small, I don't use that because I can't see as well as I do on my regular computer.
Okay, so I believe I heard Commissioner Givens and Young both talk, but I'm gonna let Commissioner Young go first since she's having trouble. Then-
Yeah, there was just one, if you could go down a little bit further.
Sure.
Okay. Under purpose, it says, right, and the second sentence, it says
Oh.
1 gift card, and should you change that to 2
It
maybe?
should be 2. You're right.
I think that's the only thing I picked up on.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Did it say 2 gift cards, the plural?
Right. 2 gift cards, plural.
Right. Thank you.
Commissioner Givens, you have the floor.
Yes, so I wanted to get, to make sure that the program is being run as its intended definition of gas card and why one would need a gas card to ensure that that program would require that the persons submit a vehicle registration in Cottage City or something, you know what I'm saying? Because it's my understanding, it's come to my attention from residents within the town, that other residents have gotten gas cards that don't have a car, and they've used those gas cards to buy cigarettes and other items that are non-gasoline petroleum products. So I want to make sure that these programs are put toward the intended use. For that, if we need to do other programs for other things, then we can consider those as well. Thank you.
Thanks. We did have a discussion during the budget meeting last week in regards to that. Because I know that's a concern for you, Commissioner Givens. And so we had a really good discussion about it. It's going to be hard for the town to police what people do with these gift cards. And then you have to remember, there are some people, like I have a resident in my ward who doesn't drive, but she does have people take her places, and she could use the gas card to put gas in their car. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know how we could enforce it or police it.
Okay, so what we have to start by doing is not just having it free will. So you start by, you can have those types of incidents, those episodes that are not negotiable, but you know what I'm saying. And a case by case basis, right? But if you don't put any type of parameters on it, then people will abuse the program. And there will always be people who are going to abuse programs regardless. But you just invite the abuse of the program when we don't put any what's the names in place, i.e. the PPP loans. And we all see what's going on with that. People are going to jail now because the government failed, because they assumed, because they have failed to put certain common sense stopgaps in these programs. So you're always going to have someone take advantage of them, and I get that, but we're not, and I'm not here to but we do have to create an environment in which we discourage that, and to make sure people understand that what the purpose of the cards are for. Otherwise, then you just might as well just give them credit cards and just let them do whatever they want to do with them. You see what I'm saying? And I don't advocate for that either. So I think we should do that, and I recommend it strongly. And then you could have those episodes, those instances, where you have special circumstances, and and the commission, and not the commission, but the town manager can make that judgment call. Because we can't have them come back to the commission every time, but we have to have something in place. I yield back. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Commissioners Armache and Young. You remember the discussion we had last week in regards to this. How do you feel about at least asking for registration, car registrations in the town? Or do you think that's a little too much?
Well, your example about the woman who gets rides with other people, then she wouldn't be able to get the card. So, I think probably there may be some people
No,
who
she
will use
would be
it.
able. She would be able to get the card, Ann. I just said case by case.
If she
basis.
can't show a registration.
No,
What Wanda just said was,
you didn't
what
hear
Wanda
what I
just
said.
said.
That's not what I said.
Listen, what I'm saying is what Wanda said. Wanda said, should we require car registration? But if you want to go back and start over, that's fine.
Okay, guys. I just said that we're gonna be polite and we're gonna mute everyone unless you've been recognized to have floor.
We're trying to be polite. Let's just clarify what the issue is.
Commissioner Givens has raised concerns about the program. He wants to make sure that those who receive the gas cards are using them for their intended purpose, which would be to purchase gas.
Right.
If there's someone who needs to, who would benefit from the gas card, although they don't have a registered car, they may catch rides, but they would like to offer their driver some kind of compensation or gas towards the transportation they're being provided. That would be an exception to the rule. But that would be something that I guess the grant manager or maybe the town manager would have to determine whether that person would still fit or meet the criteria. Am I characterizing that correct, Commissioner Givens?
That's correct.
Okay. So, and sorry if I left that part out, but I thought everyone had heard you say it. I'm on the fence. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's worth the trouble.
May I comment?
Yes.
So even when you start getting into whether someone's eligible or not, that can be seen as inherently unfair. That's just my first thought. With these cards, you could have someone come in and show your registration, for example, and say, I'm going to use it for gas, but when they get there, they don't. We can't enforce it on that level. I had a conversation with the gas station owner. And I said, well, what if all the cards we have, I put in permanent marker CC. So at that point, only gas. Well, they said, well, there's distance between them and the person purchasing. So when they put it in the machine, they don't distinguish it being one of their gas cards and in the other, form of credit or debit. So on their end, they can't police it. And we really can't either, because a person can say, like you said, a person who needs a ride, they can say it, but it doesn't mean it's true. Unless you want to have people sign affidavits. I think that's a bit much.
I agree.
That's not that. Come on, you guys are being absolutely immature and insanely unreasonable with the conversation. Everything I've said, you guys have come back and said something that was totally off of what I said. I said, again, while we can't continue to enforce everyone, I said that. I know I said that because I said it. And you guys are talking about, some of the outliers. Those things, people will always take advantage of the system. But that's not the purpose. When you put together a program, you put in criteria. And if you have exceptions, those are to be considered. I'm not talking about what people will always take advantage of or not. That still should not preclude us from putting guardrails in place. If people take it back, then, it's nothing we can do. I'm not here to send them to jail. But I'm saying, though, all you do is encourage the inappropriate behavior of people who know that you're giving them out to anybody. And then you moot the purpose of having them call gas cards. Otherwise, why don't you just give them out and just call them $100 or $50 kind of shitty cards or whatever, credit cards, and then they can do whatever they want to, because that's all you're doing if you give them a gas card and don't put any guardrails on. Jesus.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Before you make the suggestion, I want to say something. So I hear what Commissioner Givens is saying. I mean, and he makes a valid point. Maybe what we could do for the folks who do want to come back and get a second card, they have to show registration, or they have to show some kind of proof that they are a driver within the town of Cottage City. Maybe that'd be the additional criteria if you wish to get a second card. That's just something to think about. Go ahead, Ms. Richardson.
Well, what we do for the food card, there is a little form that they fill out and they sign. So we could do the same for the gas cards in terms of, having them fill it out and sign it, and that this would be used for the purpose of purchasing gasoline. I think sometimes when people got to sign something, it makes a difference in their head. in terms of doing the right thing. It doesn't guarantee it.
Well, maybe we make them sign something and show the car registration, or at least a driver's license. I don't know. I'm just trying to find a compromise at this point. Commissioner Armache, any thoughts?
I mean, I kind of feel like we're just rehashing the same conversation that we had last time, which is that it is challenging in a number of ways to police people on that level with regard to how they spend these for all the reasons that people have stated. And I basically, I still don't feel like, yes, you could ask them to check a box that it's intended for X, for the purchase of gas only, or however you want that to be worded. But again, that doesn't guarantee that that's what they're going to do. So I don't know.
But I think it would show an effort that we are trying to put a safeguard in place.
Sure.
I'm just taking Mr. Givens' concerns. At least it shows an effort that we're putting a safeguard in place. But you're right. Ultimately, we can't hold their hand.
Yeah.
I see your point.
Which, as Commissioner Armache said, we did discuss this last week, Commissioner Givens. I think you may have left the call or left the meeting and didn't hear the full conversation. But we did discuss this, and it is very hard to
Yeah,
police.
but you discussed it on a budget meeting, which that's secondary to the town meeting. And you're talking about public things that involve the public interest. The best practice is to put that conversation, in the criteria in a town meeting. You can talk about the finance. Budget meetings are made to set a financial goal. And that's what you should be discussing. You're not supposed to be in there. Well, you can, but it's kind of ridiculous for you to sit in there and be talking about hashing over the particulars, because then you're just wasting time. You're supposed to put a line item in there for the amount, and then you can work out, through meetings or through the town manager, whatever, the details. But that's not the appropriate place to be discussing those things. And I yield back.
Well, we actually did discuss that. In addition to the parameters, we discussed putting additional 20,000 onto the gift cards, the gift gas cards. And we discussed putting additional 25,000 for the food cards. Is that not correct, Ms. Barbara? I'm calling you Ms. Barbara, Ms. Richardson.
That is correct.
So we did discuss the funds in the line item. You're absolutely right. We
Could I
did.
speak?
Commissioner Young, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I can't recall exactly what Commissioner Givens is proposing, but I think I heard you say that for the second card, they would need to show, say, for example, their driver's license, or sign something saying why they need it. If, for example, they get rides from other people and they would use it for that, they could write that down and sign that. That seems like a good enough solution to me, if other people agree. I can't remember who originally suggested it, but one of you did, and I thought that was a good idea.
I know the purpose of this ordinance is to approve giving out second cards, and because we had originally said it would be one card per family. So I think we all agreed that we are okay with giving out the second card. It's just as Commissioner Givens raised the parameters, which we're discussing in a town meeting now.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, I assumed that was made sense. But so I didn't feel the need to go and have a conversation or us to get in detail into the dirt with the town manager about the details about how the programs are being run. We put these things in place, but I mean, we gotta have some common sense solutions. I mean, granted, everybody can't think of everything. I get that, you know, but when it was brought to my attention that people were buying liquor and what's the name with it, you know, and they didn't even have no car. I mean, come on. I mean, and no one could sit here. You can be pissed off with me, whatever you want or whatever. But the fact is that what I'm asking is not unreasonable. You know, otherwise, then don't mask what you're doing. Just give everybody, like everybody gets a credit, everybody gets a gift card for Christmas, our employees. Then, you know, then that's what you do. We don't put any parameters on what they buy with those. So I yield back.
What about my suggestion in terms of them, you know, filling out a form and saying that it's only used for the purpose of purchasing gasoline? Is that something that the commission would be amenable to?
I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, we got to put something in place and not just nothing. And apparently, you know, when we didn't have this discussion on the onset, things were put in place that I wasn't even aware of, and that I would have never, you know, I would have, you know, have approved. I would have never given my consent. I yield back.
So it sounds like we're in agreement that families can get a second card, that some of the parameters around the second card will be they either sign a form or they present their driver's license or driver's registration or something. And they have to be a Cottage City resident, which we already know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with doing that. I don't have any pains about it. I'm not upset about it. So please don't think anyone is angry, because I don't think any of us are angry about it. We just want to come to a compromise or understanding
I
where everybody
agree.
is comfortable. I think Commissioner Young, you were okay with that. Commissioner Armstrong, would you be okay with that?
Yes.
I want to clarify, when you say okay with that, what is that specifically?
That if a family wishes to get a second gas card,
Mm-hmm.
the parameters will be they have to sign the form like they do with the food card.
Mm-hmm.
And you can set up the form however, I don't know if you want it to resemble the food card or what. You can put a box there checking that this card will be used for gas, whatever, and either a driver license or car registration.
Are you saying
Or that someone else will be driving them?
or both?
Either or,
Or-
because either the car registration is going to be in their name or the driver's license is going to be in their name. So there has to be either or.
Well, you can have a driver's license and not drive. So we're talking about a car registration.
Yeah, but you could also not have you could also have a driver's license and not have a car and have someone else drive you around. Are you going to go and
Right.
get their car registration? No, you're not.
So then we're talking about or, not and. So
I said either or.
okay, I'm sorry. Got it.
So if I could just say something, a driver's license or a car registration or telling how someone else drives them places.
That would be the exception. They would have to explain that that they don't physically drive. Like you may have a senior in town that their child
Right.
may come and pick them up and take them to the doctor. Look, which I know I have someone that does that. And they may want to give their child some gas money. They're a senior, they're already on a fixed income, so that gas card would help them. It would help them to give to their driver. Whether it's one of their
Right.
children or grandchildren or a church member, someone who comes to pick them up from time to time. Or whenever, I don't know. But I'm just saying,
So
for
that'd be,
those circumstances, they would just have to explain it. But that
Right,
would
I
be
agree.
everybody. So, but we are going to stick to one, the second card is still going to be per family.
Correct. And I did make the correction.
And we do know that we have multiple homes where we have more than one family in a home. So I hope
Correct.
we're not gonna penalize any of the second family and say, well, your house already received the card.
Because it's per household, not house.
Okay, just making sure.
No
All
problem.
right, so, I got off, was this the first, this was the
Do we
first,
need to vote on that?
Yeah, it's a resolution. It's just a
this is
resolution.
the resolution, so,
And can we also make sure that we put it in a newsletter explaining your program and the purpose? Thank you.
it's the same program, we're just adding some additional parameters around it.
Yeah, I know, but if you're actually giving out a second gas card, how are people gonna know if you don't put it in a newsletter?
Yeah, add the parameters. So,
I mean, we definitely gonna put in the newsletter, because we currently advertise it in the newsletter. So I don't understand why we wouldn't advertise it again. But let me read it into the record. Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-02. A resolution to amend the Cottage City ARPA Gas Relief Program. Whereas many of our town residents have been financially affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas COVID-19 continues to present economic challenges for town residents and their families. Excuse me. Whereas the town manager has recommended that the town commission implement the gas relief program to assist individuals, families, and small businesses. We're giving gas cards to small businesses?
that was the language that was in the food card. And I didn't catch that until you just said it.
Excuse me. I don't remember giving gas cards or food cards to small businesses.
No,
Does
we
anyone-
had not. My understanding it was for families and individuals, households. So I'll
Let's
remove
just
that.
take that out.
Yeah, let's
Yeah, I'll
strike that.
remove it. Mhm. Yeah, I reused the language, so
Okay, we can strike that.
I would
So-
strike that.
Let me start that part again. Whereas the town manager has recommended that the town commission implement the gas relief program to assist individuals and families residing within the town of Cottage City with their financial hardships, which have been caused by COVID-19 pandemic. Where did you make the difference?
At the bottom, 2 gift cards in the amount will be issued to one adult family member within each household.
Okay, so that's the purpose of this resolution. Is to establish that we are now giving out 2 gift cards in the amount of $50 to one adult family member within each household. That is the resolution. Is there a motion to approve 2023-02?
So moved.
Is there a second? And was that, who made the motion? Who said so moved?
Yeah, I did, Commissioner Young.
Okay, Commissioner Young made the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Commissioner Armache, second the motion, call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens,
Young, I.
O'Shea, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Uri is absent. There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Sure.
It might be good in the newsletter to explain that household means a family, that there can be more one household who live in one house, because that might not be clear to everyone.
Okay.
Okay, so next is resolution 2023-03, which is the Opera Food Card Program. I do have a question, and I'm sorry. I know when we talked last week, we said we were going to implement this immediately, so we're still in fiscal year 23, budget year
Correct.
23. So I just want people to understand that we're going to start this back up with the current budget, and we're allocating the money from ARPA, which was the 25,000. Am I saying that right? Is it 25?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Okay, the next one is resolution 2023-03. A resolution to amend the Cottage City ARPA Food and Vaccination Incentive Gift Card Program. Is it a vaccination incentive gift?
yeah,
card?
that was the original name of it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what it is now.
Well, let me go down. Because you all were giving them out when people were getting vaccinations, and we did do that as well this past summer, last summer in Cottage City Day. So,
We gave out vaccinations?
but yeah, we had somebody from the state, Colfax, come and give out vaccinations, and we gave them cards.
Yeah, we did. I got my vaccination at what's the name?
Me too.
Are we gonna be doing any more vaccinations?
As long as COVID is here, yeah.
I doubt it.
Who knows?
I doubt it too. I'm sorry, but I doubt it too. I agree with Commissioner
I think we
Young.
ought to take out the vaccination part and just say ARPA food gift card programs.
I agree. I don't think that I mean, people may still get boosters,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I don't see us doing any vaccination clinics like we did before. When this program was originally started up, yes, we were
Mhm.
doing vaccination clinics and we were doing regularly, but we're not doing that anymore.
Okay.
I would strike that.
Okay. So let me rework this then, or you just, so I remove the reference to the COVID-19 vaccination incentive gift cards. That will also be the change as well. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let me rework the wording on that one. So let's skip on that one.
Okay, let's go to the next one, which will be resolution 2023-04, which is the lifter system for the Cottage City Police Department, which is
Oh,
the
okay.
records maintenance program.
Right. So this was requested by the Cottage City Police Department. You all have agreed to use ARPA funding to purchase the Lepta system, which is a computer system for police records and maintenance. In the amount of $2,175. The line item for the Lepta system will be 6054.5. The line item for the appropriated fund balance is 4201.
Yeah, I remember this. This is I think this is the system that's mandated.
Yes,
Oh, and
or to
we're,
help meet the requirements of the mandate.
yeah, so we're taking the funds this year anyway. We're taking it out of ARPA funds, and it costs $2,175. And that's for a 1-year subscription, correct, Chief? Or Miss Richardson, is that
That's
correct?
my understanding.
Okay,
That's correct. It's for the markup and the setup fees and the 1-year subscription.
okay. And okay. So did I read it into the record? I don't think I did. Let me read it so that it's on the record. So Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-04, resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. Whereas the town's charter requires no public money may be expanded without having been appropriated by the commission. Any transfer of funds between major appropriations for different purposes must be approved by the commission before becoming effective. Whereas the town manager and commission have discussed and agreed on specific uses of the ARPA funding for fiscal year 2023. And be it further ordained that this resolution shall further amend the fiscal year 2023 budget to reflect the following changes. And Ms. Richardson just read the budget line items and the amount. Will we have to do a budget amendment, or we don't? I'm curious. Do we have to do budget amendments for these?
No, the resolution is serving that purpose.
Okay.
Not my understanding from Todd is that we do not. That's why we're doing these resolutions. No, we do. I don't know if we got to do a budget amendment, but for FY 2023, this will be considered a new line item. So the resolution allows for you all to do that and basically add it to the budget. You all are appropriating the money by passing this resolution.
Yeah, but I thought when I talked to Todd last week, he said every time we added another budget line item, I thought he said we had to do an amendment, but maybe not. All right, if there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-04?
So moved.
That was Commissioner Armache who made the motion. Is there a second? I will
Second.
second. Beat you to it. This is Commissioner Wheatley. I second the motion. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Yuri's absent. There's no nays or abstentions. The motion passes.
Mhm.
Next is resolution 2023-05. And this is for improvements to Public Works Building storage space.
So these are the improvements that were made to accommodate the storage, put the shelves in or additional levels for storage for the police department in the Public Works building to expand the storage space.
This is to put the shelving in their bay.
Correct.
And I remember us talking about this. All right. I think we all already agreed to it. I'm just gonna read it into the record so we can take the vote. Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-05, a resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. Whereas the town's charter requires no public money may be expended without having been appropriated by the commission. Any transfer of funds between major appropriations for different purposes must be approved by the commission before becoming effective. Let's see. This resolution shall further amend the fiscal year 22-23 budget to reflect the following changes. Budget line item 4201, an increase of $2,000 from ARPA, and budget line 6606, Public Works Facility Maintenance, also increased by $2,000. Funds allocated for improvement and expansion of storage space. We have to show that the increase was $2,000, but we're not using $4,000 in total.
Correct.
Correct. I want you guys to understand, it's not $4,000 in total, it's only $2,000. But you have to show it in both places. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-05? Oops.
Givens, so moved as read.
I second.
And Commissioner Young?
Yes.
Was that- Okay, so the motion has been made by Commissioner Givens and seconded by Commissioner Young. All in favor, please say aye.
Young, I.
Givens, aye.
Amarche, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Motion passes. There's no abstentions or nays. Commissioner Uri is absent. Let's move to the next one.
Okay.
Resolution 2023-06, Chesapeake Bay Trust Urban Tree.
Whoops. Hold on. Lost it. Okay.
Okay. Now, is this to purchase the trees for the tree canopy?
No, this is for, we have to reflect in our budget receiving the grant. So we received $22,555 for the urban tree grant from Chesapeake Bay Trust. So the purpose of this is to reflect it in our budget. When we purchased the 33 trees and planted them recently.
Okay. So we just have to show in the budget that the money was received
Correct,
and we've already purchased the trees.
correct.
All right, let me read this one into the record. Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-06. A resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. Whereas the town's charter requires no public money may be expended without having been appropriated by the commission. Any transfer of funds between major appropriations for different purposes must be approved by the commission before becoming effective. Whereas the town has been awarded a grant from Chesapeake Bay Trust to plant 33 trees and remove stumps. And be it further ordained that this resolution shall further amend the fiscal year 22-23 budget to reflect the following changes. From our budget line, item 6001, urban tree grant. That is an increase of $22,555. Budget line item 4140, CB Trust Urban Tree Grant. Also an increase $22,555. The funds were allocated for planting 33 trees throughout the community and removing the stumps and old trees. I don't really think there's a need for much discussion on this.
Can I suggest a change in some language? It just occurred to me. It says, whereas the town has been awarded a grant from Chesapeake Bay Trust in the amount of $22,555 to plant 33 trees. I just want it to be very specific because somebody could look at this later and say, how much money did you get? Because they're both increases. So I'm just trying to be as specific as possible in the language above.
I don't have a problem with that change. Does anyone have a problem? I don't think.
Fine with me.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has a problem with that.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-06?
So moved.
That was-
Commissioner Young.
Gibbons, are you seconding?
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Armache. So the motion was made by Commissioner Young and second by Commissioner Armache. All in favor of resolution 2023-06, please say aye.
Givens,
Aye.
aye. Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Wheatley, aye. Again, Commissioner Uri is absent from the vote. There were no abstentions or nays. The motion passes. We got a lot of resolutions. Wow.
Mhm. They should go quick though. So
Yeah.
this one again has to do with a grant we received. We applied for money for that community outreach center. And we received a grant from the Department of Housing and Maryland's Department of Housing and Community Development. From there, it's an NED program, National Capital Strategic Economic Development Fund, known as NED. We got it in the amount of $185,000. And just as an FYI, we got $150,000 of that was allocated for programming. $35,000 was allocated for capital. even though the grant asked for all capital.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you able to negotiate that and change and get it for the all capital or?
I'm
They-
still working on that. I think they got some changes going on because of the new administration. So I'm still working on that. So just for the other commissioners, I'm working on putting a request in to the Department of Housing and Community Development to reallocate all of this money to capital, because that's what we need right now. We're not anywhere near needing programming. So I don't know if they will do it. I have had grants reallocated before, but it depends. So all I can do is ask.
Okay, but at the current time, it's 150 for capital and 30,000 for programming.
No, 150 for programming, 35,000 for capital.
They gave us a lot for programming, goodness.
I know.
That's a
I
lot.
did. And we didn't even ask for programming.
You don't think maybe they made a mistake?
Maybe that's why it's taking them so long to get back to me. They realize, I hope that's what it was.
Yeah, because 150,000 just for programming, that's a whole lot.
Yeah, for a building that's not built.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
just doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, hopefully, you can get them to change it or reallocate it. Let's see. Let's read it into the record though. Before I read it, is there anything you want to change in the wording or is it?
Yeah, I want to put the dollar amount. The town has been awarded a grant in the amount of $185,000 from MDDHCD for new construction of the Community Outreach Center, 3801 38th Avenue.
Okay, can you do that now or you want to do it later?
I'll do it later.
Okay, well, I'll just read it as is. Okay, Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-07, a resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. Whereas the town's charter requires no public money may be expended without having been appropriated by the commission. Any transfer of funds between major appropriations for different purposes must be approved by the commission before becoming effective. Whereas the town has been awarded a grant from MDDHCD for new construction of the Community Outreach Center located at 3801 38th Avenue from the National Capital Strategic Economic Development Fund. Be it further ordained, this resolution shall further amend the fiscal year 22-23 budget to reflect the following changes. Budget line item 6002. MDDHCD Community Outreach Center. Increase of 185,000. Budget line item 4141. MDDHCH NED grant. 1,000, increase of 1,000, increase of 185,000. The funds were allocated for the new construction of the Community Outreach Center, again located at 3801 38th Ave, from the NED program or the NED program. Is there a motion to approve this resolution with the edits recommended by the town manager to make the resolution more clearer to anyone who would look at this document at a later time? And this is for resolution 2023-07. Yeah, 2 more to go.
Can you state your question once more?
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-07?
So moved as read. Givens.
Is there a second?
I second.
So the motion was made by
Commissioner Young.
Commissioner- Thanks. The motion was made by Commissioner Givens and seconded by Commissioner Young. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Givens,
Young, I.
I'm gonna say aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Uri is absent. The motion passes. There were no abstentions or nays. Next one is, why did we skip a number?
I
Resolution,
don't know.
shouldn't it be in?
I don't know. It should have been skipped, so it was an oversight. So, but I'm sure we'll be, so what I will do is I can go ahead and change this to 2023-08. So instead of 2023-09, it will be changed to 2023-08, just so our resolutions stay in order. I think it was just an oversight by Todd, that's all.
Okay. Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-08. A resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. And this is for the police vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Whereas the town's charter requires no public money may be expended without having been appropriated by the commission. Any transfer of funds between major appropriations for different purposes must be approved by the commission before becoming effective. Whereas the town has been awarded a grant from USDA to purchase. Whereas the town has been awarded a grant from USDA to purchase of new hybrid, that doesn't sound right. Whereas the
It
town
should
has
be
been,
purchase a new hybrid. I'll
Okay.
correct that.
whereas the town has been awarded a grant from USDA to purchase a new hybrid police vehicle. Vehicle cost will be $61,057. Requires 25% match-in. The amount of $15,300 from ARPA funding. And be it further ordained that this resolution shall further amend the fiscal year 22-23 budget to reflect the following changes. It's going to be budget line item 6003 for the USDA hybrid police vehicle, increase of $30,400. Can you scroll up a little bit, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Budget line item 6054.9, hybrid police vehicle, ARPA, increase $15,300. 4201, appropriated from fund balance, $15,300. 4142, USDA Community Facilities Grant, increase $30,400. Funds are allocated for the purpose of the new hybrid police vehicle. The vehicle costs $61,057. And again, it requires 25% match in the amount of $15,300, which will come from the ARPA funding. This was another grant.
Yes, so this was the USDA facilities grant for the police vehicle. My understanding is that you all had, prior to me coming here, had decided to purchase 2 police vehicles with ARPA funds, but this grant allows for the purchase of police vehicles. And this is the one where it was ordered, and then because of delays in the supply chain, our order was canceled for a 2022 vehicle and changed to a 2023 vehicle. So that's why we haven't gotten it yet. But this particular grant covers 75% of it. So the grant itself does not cover the entire amount. So because some grants do require a match, some do not. So just understand each grant is different in terms of what it may require, and this particular one does. And I think that's it for that. Unless the chief wants to add something.
No, ma'am, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. So the grant was actually in the amount of $45,700. So I would like to put at whereas the town has been awarded a grant in the amount of $45,700 from USDA to purchase a new hybrid police vehicle.
I'm fine with you adding that language. I do have a question now. You
Sure.
mentioned that we had originally approved to purchase 2 vehicles, but this grant is only for 1 vehicle. What happened to the second vehicle?
Because when we talked to them about it, they were like, well, apply for this one. They didn't recommend applying for 2 vehicles at a time. They said you could come back. Then we also, Tracy had a conversation with them as well, that they don't like to buy too many police vehicles. Okay. So I think that's why she said just buy one now and then wait and come back for another. We inquired about the second one, and she said they're basically got to look at their funding and see how they want to allocate it. Apparently, they don't want to allocate too much money to the police vehicles, because this particular grant is called facilities, because I've known this grant like gotten money for community center. So, but the description of it is so broad, people use it to get police vehicles. And I think they're trying to avoid it going too far in that direction. That's the impression I got from the program manager.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
we will try again and see what they say.
No, it's fine. I just was
Okay,
curious.
yeah.
All right, so resolution 2023
08.
08, which is gonna change the numbering for the next one as well.
Correct.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2023 08?
So moved as read, Givens.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens. There a second?
I'll second.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Givens and seconded by Commissioner Young. Call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Young, aye.
Givens, aye. Givens, aye.
O'Shea, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Uri is absent. There are no nays or abstentions. The motion passes. We will go to the next and final resolution for tonight.
One moment. Resolution. There we go. So this is resolution 2023-09.
Okay. So I'll just read it into the record. Town of Cottage City Resolution 2023-09. A resolution concerning the Cottage City ARPA funding received for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023. Whereas the town charter requires no public money may be expanded without having been appropriated by the commission. Any transfer of funds between major appropriations for different purposes must be approved by the commission before becoming effective. Whereas the town has been awarded a grant from DHCD to upgrade the town hall security camera system, install AI cameras along the business district, and purchase 100 Ring doorbells for the residential program. And be it further ordained that this resolution shall further amend the fiscal year 22-23 budget to reflect the following changes. From budget line 6006, DHCD Community Surveillance Project, an increase of $94,672. Budget line item 4143, DHCD Community Safety Works Grant, increase again $94,672. These funds are allocated for the upgrade of the town hall security camera system, to install AI cameras along the business district, and to purchase 100 Ring doorbells for the residential program. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-09?
Can I add the language in
Could
there?
I first ask a question?
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Young, you have the floor.
What does DHCD stand for? And I suggest we put that in the
Okay.
wording.
The
What does it stand?
Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. So I'll spell that out.
Yeah, thanks.
And I want to add that the grant amount as well has been awarded a grant in the amount of $94,672.
Okay, if there's no further questions or discussions, I will call for a motion to approve resolution 2023-09. I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2023-09. This is Commissioner Wheatley. Is there a second?
Given second.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens, for the second. Call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens,
O'Shea,
aye.
aye.
Young, aye.
Wheatley, aye. Commissioner Yuri's absent. The motion passes. There were no abstentions or nays. I believe that's our last resolution for tonight.
Correct.
We will move on to the town manager's report.
I sent you all an email. This is about 3813 Cottage Terrace, where I've been trying to arrange for the appraisal to no avail. So I had spoken to Mr. Shipley. I had reached out to the attorney for the property owners, never got back to me. Apparently they haven't gotten back to our attorney, Mr. Shipley. And he has communicated with them, which I've shared with you via email, that if they don't communicate in terms of getting access for an appraisal, he will use the discovery process. So apparently he's been having difficulty as well in terms of them being unresponsive to giving us access to the house for an appraisal.
I have my hand raised.
Okay.
Can you please bring the letter up from Mr. Shipley on the screen so the public can see it?
Sorry, hold on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And also, could we get a little history here? Because I recall that Mr. Shipley had said that he had talked with someone about getting an offer from us. And could someone refresh my memory as to who he had communicated with about that earlier? Was it the bank or was it the family? And are they not communicating together at this point? I'm trying to sort of sift out who's communicating and who's not communicating and where that whole thing between them and the bank stands.
I'm not following.
Well, we had made an offer before and it had been accepted, and then a family member who was not on the original deed, I guess, that the bank had, or the loan documents that the bank had, objected, and so that started a lawsuit. But then more recently, after we hired Mr. Shipley, I thought that he had communicated with us asking for an offer from us, and there was some communication about how much that would be, and we said, hold on, we want to get an appraisal. So I just wanted to see if we could refresh our memory on all that.
Right, they asked us to make an offer. Mr. Shipley did suggest an amount. And then the commission said, well, let's get an appraisal so that we know what realistically the property is worth. before we make an offer to them. So yes, they did solicit
And who is they? That's what I'm trying to understand. Who is they?
the
the
owners of
family?
the property. Yes, the family.
Okay, and that offer was, it seems like I recall that was somewhere in the range of what we had offered before.
Well, they didn't suggest an amount. Mr. Shipley stated an amount.
What was the amount that he
I
stated?
think it was two something. I can't recall exactly.
Because I think we had offered around 240 before.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to try to recall what all that
Yes.
was.
Correct. So in response to them soliciting an offer, the owners or the parties who have an interest in the property, we wanted to get an appraisal, but we have not been able to get access to the property. So that's been the challenge.
Right. And by the way, there's a bunch of mail in the mailbox. When you walk by there, you can see it hanging out of the mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose of this letter that Mr. Shipley sent to the attorneys is to see if we can get access inside of the property to do a full appraisal.
Correct.
So this is just an FYI for us.
Yeah, and it's also to let us know that he's been having difficulty because once he said, it is hope that this can be arranged without initiating formal discovery under the Maryland Rules of Procedure. It means like, come on, cooperate with me. So I don't have to go take formal proceeding. Mm-hmm.
If I could speak, the reason I asked those questions is because it seemed like the amount that he was talking about was around 240, which is what we had offered before. So my only concern here is that if it's going to end up costing us more to go to court to try to get an appraisal, if it's going to end up costing us more in the end than just making our offer now and getting the offer, or accepting their proposed amount at this point and getting the building, it might be better to just go ahead and get the building rather than, build up attorney fees and who knows what else in the process of trying to get something, the appraisal fee and so forth.
Well, the appraisal is only $500.
Oh, did he get it down from that? I thought it was
Yes.
several thousand.
No, he got it down. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's good anyway. Well, I'm just suggesting that as a consideration, that if you talk to him, you might want to see what he says about that, because if this is a hang up and we can get it for what we offered before, we might want to just go ahead and do it.
All right.
If we can do that.
So I have a question. When you all made the offer before, had you did it without inspecting the interior of the property?
We went in and saw it, but I don't think we had a formal appraisal. But we made an offer, it was accepted, and then the family came in, and that sort of knocked it out because I guess our town manager at the time agreed to back off our claim at that point.
But you're saying it was 240,000?
240, around there. I can't remember the exact number. Demetrius, do you remember?
Commissioner Gibbons has his hand up, so I do want to give him a chance to speak. But to answer your question, Carol, what happened was that the commission had made an offer to the bank, not to the family. And then we found out that there was something going on with the title. We couldn't get title to the property. the bank didn't do their due diligence and go and contact the second owner, because there was another signer on the house, and they didn't contact the survivor. One of the owners was deceased. The other owner was living in another state, but they didn't reach out to that owner. They put it up for sale. We made the offer, but we couldn't clear the title. So the bank pulled the property off the market. They took it down. And when we talked to Mr. Huffman, who was our real estate attorney at the time, not Mr. Shipley, but we had hired or retained him. He said, even if we had refused to pull our contract back or take our deposit back, they still had the right to pull that property off the market. So it was like our hands were tied.
Oh,
So I just want you to really get the full picture.
okay, that helps.
Okay, Commissioner Givens, your hand is up.
I don't want to belabor the point, so forget it. I pass. I yield.
Okay, so I'll just ignore your hand. Do other commissioners agree with Commissioner Young to just, if this is going to be a problem getting the appraisal on the inside of the property, to just go with the offer?
I think what I don't think you should be doing anything that in regards to this situation without the attorney's recommendation. The appraisal was not for them. The appraisal was for us. And we shouldn't be talking about this right now in a public meeting. So don't do that. All right, let's just take it off the table. Let Mr. What's name do what he needs to do. If you guys want to at some point have a discussion with him in a closed session, that's the appropriate what's name to discuss real estate strategies and so on. You don't do that in a public meeting as you're attempting to do now, and without he's already given his advice. If you want to defer to something else, then you need to do that again under those privacy allowances for us to be able to go into.
Good point.
Yeah, I agree.
We should probably do that.
Okay,
So let's schedule a closed meeting,
okay.
and it'd probably
Invite
be
Mr.
good-
Shipley?
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be good if you could get him to attend. So if you can get on his schedule. And then check with us to see what days work for us.
Okay.
All right, so I think we need to move on from that one.
Okay.
You have anything else to report?
Yes, something, well, this is not big. I don't know if you all, Greg sent an email. The town has started recycling. We are a sustainable community. So I asked him to get recycling bins because I felt that we need to be doing that. So those have been purchased and put in all of the offices. So that's all.
Does
Thank
anyone,
you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I was gonna,
Could you
say-
repeat what it, I missed what your description of the subject there?
We're a sustainable community. And, I noticed that we did not have recycling. We weren't doing recycling. So I asked Greg to purchase recycling bins to put, in the offices. And he sent an email explaining what could be recycled and what could not. So that we can live up to our designation.
I thought you already did that. Thank you.
Any other questions for the town manager? Hearing none, we'll move to the next report, Public Works. Is Mr. Pinckney on the call?
No, he called out sick today because his daughter was ill.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move to, well, did you want to cover his report or you just want us to read it for our information?
I would say just read it for your information.
Okay.
In the event you have questions.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions on the report, I guess you can contact the town manager. Let's move to the police department. Chief, do you ready to give your report?
Yes, ma'am. Just a couple of things. We did purchase the Ring doorbells. We set up the program. We had one person yesterday to actually fill out the forms to get the Ring doorbell. Next week, we'll have officers and myself go out to community and try to get people to sign up for the program in reference to registering their cameras as well as their doorbells. It don't have to be a Ring doorbell, but register their camera systems with the town. So if we have any kind of situation in the town, we can look at our camera program and see who has a camera in that location and try to request a copy. The Ring camera program is a little bit different than it was in previous years because due to the fact that we had so many organizations to try to block the partnership between the police departments in the country as well as the Ring program. They want us to do it differently. We can't really pretty much say Ring program. We have to say it's our program. We can't send anything to Ring to have them send any emails to the owners. The owners have to work through us individually, not through Ring, which we are doing. That's how we have our set up. So we are in compliance with that. Also, what we're trying to do also is try to get the businesses in the area to actually sign their camera system up with us too. Just register it, just in case we have any situations around a storefront or anything like that. We have access, well, not access to the camera, but we know that they have a camera that we can request footage. Everything is done the proper way where we just ask for it. If we need to obtain a warrant, not warrant, but a subpoena for footage, we can do that also, but at least we know where the cameras are. In reference to the other programs, we are still waiting for our vendors to get back to us. They had to order the cameras and stuff for the AI cameras in the community. Once we get that together in a time frame, I will make sure I send that out to the community as well as the commission. Also have another couple grants to be trying to look at right now. The state of Maryland has put out a grant list. We are going to look at the grant list. I think when I sat down with the town manager, we identified, I believe, 4 to 5 grants that we are going to look into. Hopefully by next month, I can send something to the commission of which ones that we would like to go out after. I think the deadline for all these grants are March 31st. So I will have my list together for approval beginning of March for us to go further with the acquisition of those grants. I'm open for any questions or concerns you have at this time.
I have my hand raised, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that we have to go through the town. So are you saying that if you want to get one of these Ring doorbells, you have to get your subscription through the town?
No. Subscriptions go through Ring. What it is that Ring doesn't not allow to do the program with police in reference to, like, the way it was set up before is that you register with Ring and Ring would have a database that they would share with us of everybody that have the Ring. They can't share that information with us. We have to go out there and get that information ourselves from the owner of the house. So that's what we're doing now. That we're just giving the Rings up for free. And if you want to participate in the program that we have, that's how you get the free Ring program, or the free Ring doorbell. You have to be a part of the program. But we asked other people that already had a Ring and other people that already have camera systems to be a part of our program. And that's how we're doing it.
Okay, but if you get the free Ring, you still have to purchase your own subscription. That's my question.
No, we give the first year of free. The first year we purchase for you. But after that, you have to purchase it on your own. But the Ring program, in reference to them giving us the database ourselves, the Ring would give us the database. They cannot do that no longer. So we have to go out there and request them to sign up for our program, that if they want the Ring, they have to say that, they're part of our registration. That means we have a registration where we know where the cameras are. They can still deny us. That means if we go ahead and ask for footage, they still have the right to deny us. But then that's when we go and get subpoena if it's something that serious that we need subpoena for and still get that footage. But it's the point where you just know where our cameras are.
Okay, so with the program, you get the free Ring and you get a free 1-year subscription.
That's correct.
Now, if you already have a camera, you're asking people to join the program, but they're not
That's
going to get a free Ring
That's correct.
and they're not going to get the free 1-year subscription. You're
No,
just going to get access to their footage if they
That's
allow
correct.
you to have it.
If they're allowed to have it. That's correct.
Okay. You answered my question. No questions. Any other questions for the chief?
I do.
You have the floor.
Mrs. Carroll. I feel like we need, since this is a program that the town is initiating, I think we need something written down in terms of how it works, because there are different components. And so that it's clear who, just how it's all interrelated. I think we need something written down in terms of how it works.
Yeah, it's already written. I already have it
Okay.
written down and we already have a map out. We had the forms already ready to go. I'll beam over to you tomorrow, let you see it. But it's a format of how we doing the program.
You said a form you give to residents?
Yes, they have an application form they have to fill out
Mhm.
and they have to fill out the registration form to register their camera.
Well, I was speaking in the context of how the program works overall, that it is documented that this is the program the town is initiating.
That
Like
was in the newsletter.
explaining all of that,
Yes, it was in the newsletter. It was explained in the newsletter. I sent it to you. You approved it for the newsletter.
And that newsletter was a synopsis. When you get into talking about the relationships between us and Ring and all of that, I think that kind of detail needs to be fleshed out.
Yeah, can you guys work on that offline? This is, I don't think
Okay.
this is
Okay.
good conversation at a public meeting. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Right, any other questions? All right, thank you.
I don't have any other questions. Is that the end of your report?
And I'm sorry, my monthly was turned in late. I thought I turned in last week, but I didn't. So I sent it in today, and I believe it's gonna be sent out to the commission tomorrow. And that's my fault. I thought I turned it in and I didn't send it over.
Okay, so how will the public get it? Because it's not on the agenda.
Put it in the next newsletter.
It'll be next to it, yes.
Do you currently put the police reports in the newsletter? Or
The
just
stats we do.
just
The
you
stats
put
we
the
do.
Statistics.
Yes, statistics, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, any other questions or discussion for the police department? Hearing none, we'll move on to Ward 1 report. Commissioner Young, you have the floor.
Thank you. Okay, I've got two things. First, some of you may know this. There is another bill this year before the state legislature to require 2 persons to be on any train. This passed a few years ago. Some of us had gone up to testify in favor of it, especially since the train comes so close to Cottage Terrace. It's across the street from me, but the people down at the other end of town, their backyards where their kids play are just right next to the train tracks. So what happened the last time it came up was it passed, and then Governor Hogan vetoed it. So it's being brought up again this year, and I'm gonna send Representative, I think it's Stein, in the House, I've taken some pictures and I'm going to send her the pictures showing how close it gets here. And somebody had suggested they might want some of us to testify again. So I just wanted to inform everybody of that. If you're interested, Demetrius, you're the other ward that's affected by this. I mean, it really is dangerous. The thought that, I don't know that they actually do this now, but the thought that they would only have one person on these big, huge freight trains that, I mean, they're long, they're very long, and they're very heavy, and God knows what's on them. I mean, I've heard, you know, some places they say there's, you know, really horrible stuff in some of the cars. And then, of course, we heard about the train wreck in Ohio, and some of the articles about that said, you know, you could have a derailment if there was anything as big as a brick on the train tracks. So this is pretty important, especially to the people in Ward 1 and Ward 4. So I'm gonna forward pictures to Representative Stein, and anyone else who's interested. I'll, you know, try to keep you in the loop on anything I find out. The other thing, let me see if I can get to it. I got a message from Shirley Lewis that there is a Black History event at the Ark, a state-of-the-art recreational facility located at 1901 Mississippi Avenue Southeast in Washington. There's a play entitled The Chisholm Effect about the life and times of Shirley Chisholm, who was a great woman, the first African-American woman elected to Congress and the first to run for president in 1972, which I recall. Her autobiography, Unbought and Unbossed, tells the story of her pioneer efforts as a first, being both Black and female in the male-dominated field of presidential contenders, of which she was one. Her autobiography, Unbought and Unbossed, tells that story in this play that's being featured on Friday, February 24th at 5 p.m. The DC Department of Recreation is generously donating free tickets, 50 of them, for this play. Ms. Lewis those tickets will be delivered to Ms. Lewis, and she will make sure that Town Hall receives them in time for distribution. They're being offered by one of the DC Recreation Committee directors in a continuing effort to enhance relationships with their neighbors on the borders. And they've been kind enough to invite our seniors to the Work-Long Senior Summer Camp Program, which Ms. Lewis negotiated on behalf of the town. She's going to try to get those tickets delivered over to Town Hall tomorrow or soon thereafter. And so if we could make some announcement about that, I think that sounds like a great event to go to. And for those of you not old enough to remember her, Shirley Chisholm really was an amazing woman. So those are my two things. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Richardson, can you bring up the agenda on the screen, please?
Yes.
We'll move on to Ward 2. Commissioner Armitage, you have anything you would like to report?
I'll pass at this time.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to report out on a couple of things, so I'm going to try to be real quick. Just want to let everyone know about the Black History Month program that we had this past Saturday in collaboration with Comar Manor. It was a great event. Hopefully, if you couldn't make it in person, you saw it on the Zoom. Everyone gave us all the compliments. Everyone enjoyed themselves. The food was delicious. The speakers was awesome. Miss Millicent Sparks, our Harriet Tubman performer, she just was the best. I can't say enough about her. I'm glad we did it. I appreciate Comar Manor allowing us to use their space. And I want to thank Mayor Casanas and her council. The budget for Black History Month. The numbers that I got from Brittany was like 1,700. But we did get funds from Comar Manor. They donated $700, I believe.
Correct.
And then prior to that, we had decided to move the funds from Native American Heritage Month, which was an additional 600. So altogether, our budget was 800 from Black History budget line item, 600 from Native American Heritage Month, and then 700 from Comar Manor, which made our complete budget 2,100, but we only spent, I believe, around 1,700, so we did come under budget. The other thing I wanted to report out was that I did attend Senator Augustine's breakfast on Saturday as well. And he had quite a lot to say. And if you didn't get a chance to come in person, hopefully you saw it on Zoom. But some of the things that he pointed out that he wanted us to make sure we're aware of. And let me just get my notes because I can't remember stuff by. So he's working on. Can you bring up the agenda so I can see everything?
You can't see it because I'm sharing. Can anyone see my screen?
I can see your screen, but I can't see everything that's under mine. Okay, now I can see it. So he's working on legislation to get the port towns included or added to the Gateway Art District. And so right now he's still working on that legislation. But when it does come up, it would be great if we could either send a letter of support or maybe even go up and testify at the Senate in Annapolis. So be on the lookout for that legislation. And I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. I know we have a lot of artists in our communities, not just in Cottage City, but Comar Manor, Bladensburg has a lot of artists. I'm not sure about Edmiston, but I know he's working and getting the port towns added. So that'd be great for our communities. Another thing that he's working on is support for the mental health bill, SB 0108, which deals with health insurance and having folks receive an annual behavioral health or wellness visit and being able to be reimbursed for this bill. Be reimbursed for this, for their visits. And this is a bill that the senator is sponsoring. There's a link on the agenda if you want to just click on it and read more about it. I think it's a great bill and I think we should support him. Let's see, what else did I want to ask about? I do want to ask, what's the status of the tot lot? I know there was a delay in the equipment being delivered, but have we gotten an update? Have they given us a delivery date?
No, they have not. The only update we've gotten is that it had been shipped. So, it had been shipped. So the question of when the delivery is and when it gets off the boat or whatever, that has still not been shared with us.
Is there someone we can follow up with or contact and get a?
Yeah, I can call Miracle
answer?
and find out. And I'll give you the information via email.
Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to ask about, a while back, Commissioner Givens had asked about solar panels for the gazebos. Are we looking into that? Are we looking for grants? Are we going to use ARPA money? What's going on with that?
I was looking for grants to pay for that.
Mhm.
And I still would like to.
Mhm.
Or I'd rather use a grant before we use up our money. But in the event I can't find a grant, I would recommend we use ARPA money. So what I would do, I can just go ahead. I haven't gotten an estimate for it before, and I don't know if Greg has, because I don't know when the conversation about solar panels started, whether it started before me or not. But that is something we have discussed, but I'll update you on that. And I do have Tracy looking for grants as well. And there are some energy grants. The question is, can we use them for solar panels? A lot of it has to do with energy efficiency within a building or things like that, not necessarily solar panels. Excuse me.
Okay, I do have a question in regards to those solar panels. If we put them on the shelter's roof, there's a lot of trees over there. Would they get much sunlight? Or would we have to prune the trees back?
Yeah, that crossed my mind too. So that would be one of the things, if we could have someone come out and look at it and say, is this even a good location for solar panels?
Yeah, I think we need to find that out.
Okay.
Okay. My next question, well, my next comment was, back at the May 11th, 2022 regular town meeting, I
Mhm.
had brought up, Juneteenth or doing something for Juneteenth. I know we didn't put anything in the budget last year, but I was hoping this upcoming budget that we're currently working on, that we could put some funds into, the budget for a Juneteenth celebration of some sort. I know last year we put something in the newsletter, but it is a holiday for our staff. We do give them the day off. I think it's an important enough holiday that it should be recognized and celebrated. I would like to do something like maybe purchase a Juneteenth flag and raise the flag on that day or for that week or month. I don't know how long we want to put it out. But I do want to do something for Juneteenth. And if you could let Todd know that, and I mean, I don't know how the other commissioners feel about it, but I know we discussed it. And we talked about, possibly putting some money aside to do something. And I would like to do something for Juneteenth.
I fully support that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Commissioner Young.
So the question would be what you want to do, because that would dictate what needs to be in the budget.
Right. So that's why I want to, brainstorm with Todd. See how much money we could possibly put in. I don't know if we want to do an official program or if we want to do a celebration, but like I said, I definitely want to get the flag, and I need to think about a program or some type of event. So I'll have to come back with you on the numbers. Let's see, is that it for me? Oh, one more thing for me. Sorry, I'm taking up a little bit more time than I planned. But the MMA conference is next week. It's February 16th through the 17th. It's a 2-day conference. I did attend last year. It didn't cost that much. I think it was under, I think the conference is like $200. And I think my per diem was like $175 or something. But I would like to attend again this year. And if the commissioners are okay with me attending, then I'd like to get approval tonight, because again, it is next week. So I need to make sure.
I'm okay with your going.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Young. Commissioner Armachane Givens.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens. Did we lose him? Maybe we lost him.
No, I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, that's it for me. Let's see, Commissioner Givens, do you have anything to report out?
No.
Okay, if there's no, I don't know if there are no seconds, if there's, are there any other individuals or public comments at this time? I know we had asked before, but I don't think we received any. I don't even know if we have any public folks on the line. Looks like it's mainly us. So it's 9:41 p.m. If there's no further discussion, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I know you guys don't want to stay here any
So
longer.
moved.
So
It's okay. Is there a second? I'll make the second. So, call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Givens, aye.
Young, I.
Wheatley,
I'm gonna
aye.
say, I'm gonna say aye.
Amashay, aye. Motion passes. We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Have a good night and see you next time.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.